Hey, what's going on, guys? We're back with some more Gundam news. That's right, it's not Gunpla news this time around, just Gundam themed, although we did have some Gunpla news and a whole bunch of other news just come out of the Shizuoka Hobby Show, which I covered in depth, talking all about everything from Bandai to Kotobukiya to Max Factory and more. So check out all that coverage from the show. For model kit stuff, in this video, we're going to be going over Bandai's Gundam Conference 2026 spring live stream and the series of announcements that they've had going on Gundam Info related to the 50th anniversary of Gundam that's coming up in 2029. Now, that's a little ways off, but Bandai is getting right into it with some announcements, although a lot of these announcements are very vague and we kind of don't really know the details of what's going on, but at least they have some announcements here. So I thought I'd kind of put everything into one video to kind of summarize everything, at least of what we know so far, which is not a lot. There could also be some other like very fine details that I've missed here and there, but I just thought this video might be helpful for you guys just to kind of have an idea of what's coming up in the next few years from Bandai. First thing to note too is that this was labeled as Gundam Conference 2026 Spring, which leads me to believe that they are planning on doing this more than once this year, and that possibly there may be another similar type of conference live stream series of announcements maybe in the fall. Maybe they're going to do like one in the spring, one in the fall for the next couple years leading up to the 50th anniversary would be my guess. But anyway, for this one, these are not in any particular order, but the first thing is actually one of the most kind of near future things here. They're actually planning on taking down the full 1-to-1 scale, like life-size Unicron Gundam there in Odaiba. It's going to be coming down after standing there for 9 years at the end of August. So if you guys wanted to see that and you've not seen it in person yet, you have until the end of August to see it. That said, they didn't exactly say that it's going away for good. It might possibly just be moving to some other facility. There is talk of other facilities and other stuff kind of going on in the future. So it's not necessarily to say that it's your last chance to see the Unicron Gundam, but at least if you want to see it there at Odaiba in front of the Gundam Base Tokyo, then it seems like this is going to be your last chance to see it in this form. Now, the big question that everybody wants to know then is what's going to be replacing it, because it's hard to imagine that they're just going to be taking that down and leaving that space empty. Probably it's going to be replaced with another 1-to-1 scale Gundam, and the question is, I'm kind of on the fence. I could go kind of 50-50 in terms of like what I'm predicting. It could either be that they're going to bring back the RX-78-2 Gundam, which was the original 1-to-1 scale Gundam that they built. With it being the 50th anniversary of the original series, it would make sense to have the original Gundam there. That said, it's kind of old news, and so I think it's also just as likely that they'd make something new. Now, it could just be a new version of the RX-78-2. I think that's very likely, again, just because it's the anniversary, but it could be something else entirely. I really don't know, but that's kind of where I stand at the moment in terms of my predictions for that. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I mean, obviously, there's a bunch of people that are going to say, you know, they want it to be a Zaku or a Tequila Gundam or an Exia or whatever other random thing, you know, thinking about it kind of in terms of what's most likely. Yeah, I'm just not sure. But all right, next point of news then. April 7th has been officially declared there in Japan anyway as officially Gundam Day. And so April 7th in 1979 was the first airing of the animation. That date has been selected and I guess officially recognized now by the government there in Japan as Gundam Day. So we don't really know exactly what that's going to entail other than just obviously Bandai will be posting stuff on Gundam Day every year from now on. And then obviously probably here at USA Gundam Store, we'll probably have Gundam sales on Gundam Day and stuff like that, but other than that we don't really know, considering that it's already passed this year. So next year will be the first year in 2027 where we actually have Gundam Day as an official day that will be celebrated, and we'll see what's in store for that. All right, next up, the Boy and Gundam music video has been posted. A lot of you guys have probably already seen this. If not, definitely go check it out. Really nice music video there featuring music from the Japanese band People One. Anyway, it's a really nice music video there about an older gentleman who's watching like the walking Gundam statue, which is not there anymore, which is in Yokohama, right? And it's him kind of flashing back throughout his life of watching the original series when he was young, and then having kids of his own, and then watching later Gundam series with his children, and then now just kind of going through the time like that. So it's very nostalgic, and I feel like it's especially touching, of course, obviously if you're a little bit older, like myself. If you have kids, then obviously you're gonna kind of feel that, but it's just really cool in the animation too, just to see kind of all the different Gundam series. You saw like the main characters and the main Gundams from all the different like major Gundam series throughout there, but you did actually see other like kind of, there was some other non-major series kind of there in the background, and like a couple of frames you could see stuff like the XS, the Game Walk was really cool to see in there as well. Still really hoping to see a nice new model kit of that at some point, maybe a nice HGUC I would love to see it. Yeah, it featured like all the iconic Gundams and iconic poses and stuff, doing all that. So it was just really kind of cool to see as just like kind of a commemorative video for the 50th anniversary. I'm sure we'll see more stuff like that over the next few years, but this was kind of a really cool way to kind of kick off the celebration, even though it's still like a couple years out and just starting. But okay, then in other animation news, we did get the announcement that, and we also got a little teaser trailer here as well for Gundam Seed Freedom Zero, which I guess will be a prequel movie before Gundam Seed Freedom. So this is another like movie theatrical release, which just means that it's not going to be like a full series, but I'm sure we'll still be getting a lot of model kits from this, as we got, you know, quite a few from Gundam Seed Freedom. Maybe not quite going to be as many releases for Seed Freedom Zero, but at least there will be some for sure. And then the question is, are we going to actually get any master grades this time, or maybe we'll finally get master grades of some of the mobile suits, or at least a mobile suit from Seed Freedom? That's all still yet to be determined, as we really kind of don't know anything about the plot or anything about this yet, or even kind of what to expect to see, or even a release date for this. I'm guessing this is going to be next year, probably the beginning of next year, as they have the new Votom's theatrical release that's coming out later this year, and that's a part 1 of 2. So it's kind of based on what we know of kind of the next couple of projects that they have lined up. I would say that Seed Freedom Zero probably is coming out in the beginning of next year, but looking forward to seeing some more about that, and in particular, I'm looking forward to the new model kits. Then we have some news regarding the Netflix movie. So this is something that's been coming out for years and years. Seems like every year we're getting news about some live action Western produced movie with Legendary, with Netflix. It's happening, it's not happening. It turned into a series with Requiem for Vengeance, and now it does seem to maybe be happening, as we actually have a cast list, we have a director, we have a message from the director here. And so this is kind of the thing that kind of made me finally think that, okay, maybe this is actually happening for real this time, because, you know, Bandai is showing this special message from the director as a part of this presentation. If this was still like kind of a ways out and just kind of in the planning kind of stages, then they probably wouldn't be showing like a special message from the director like this. But director Jim Mickle had a message that he shared, very short, very simple. This is a Netflix and Legendary production together with Bandai, obviously, and so we really kind of don't know too much about it, other than it's not going to just be telling the story of the first Gundam. But he did say in the message that it is going to be featuring iconic mobile suits and ships from the series, plus some new additions. So iconic ships, I mean, there's really kind of not a whole lot of options there for what's really kind of iconic ships from the series, kind of other than white base, so we can assume it's probably going to be that. And then iconic suits, you know, if there's white base, that means it's probably just going to be like the original Gundam. But then if there's also going to be new additions as well, maybe this is just kind of going to feature some parts of the movie with like the white base and like Amuro and that team, and then maybe there'll be like kind of a whole other different than part of like kind of side story with some different mobile suits and stuff. And he also said it's going to be a very human story too, which sounds like to me kind of a little bit of a code for, you know, like don't expect this to be too focused on like the action and like the mecha, you know, mobile suits fighting in space and all that, that it could be something much more grounded. Also, that's kind of hinted at by his 8th MS team t-shirt that he was wearing. Now, I also don't really expect this to be just like a movie, like a live action movie version of 8th MS team, but something a little bit more kind of like that, more like a little kind of more grounded story. 8th MS team has a really good mix though of, you know, action and just kind of personal drama, and so it could be something kind of along those lines in a movie form. But I mean, this sounds like pretty promising. You know, I'm not totally sure on the cast really though. It just kind of really depends a lot on the writing and then like the actual like post-production, the set designs and all that, I think will really make a big difference. I'm cautiously optimistic, but you know, I really want to wait to see more visuals from what they're working on, see a little bit more about kind of, you know, hints as to like what the story is going to actually be like. But it's something to look forward to. I'm going to guess that's probably coming out sometime next year, as it does seem like they're working on it at the moment. It said that they're working on the production there in Australia. I don't think that means they're actually shooting yet. It seems like they're just working on like set production and things like that. And then so maybe if they're doing, you know, shooting at some point later this year and then post-production, that means hopefully it's coming out sometime in 2027. So we'll see. Okay, now for other more distant future projects here, we also had the announcement that there is going to be new footage produced. It has has been officially decided. New footage produced for Gundam Wing. Now, we have no idea what this is, when it's coming out, what this is going to entail, if it's going to be some kind of new series, like a short OVA series, or just a theatrical film. My guess is that this is going to be some kind of theatrical film similar to like what we've got here with like Seed Freedom and Seed Freedom Zero. It's going to be something like that, just related to Gundam Wing. As far as when it's coming out, again, we have no idea or what the story is going to be, if it's going to be an original story or some like movie version of the Frozen Teardrop story or Glory of Losers story, something like that. We really don't know, but it has been decided. So it's exciting, but you know, it's kind of hard to be too excited when we have no idea what this means yet, but it has been officially decided. So hopefully that means it will actually come out and we'll see that eventually. Again, I guess maybe in the fall, or more likely next year, we'll have more news about that. Last year was the 30th anniversary, so it's a little late for the anniversary. The other thing is that they have decided with the original Gundam series to have a remaster production project of that. Now, again, this is going to be something coming out. They did say that this is scheduled for release in 2029, so this is going to be coinciding with the 50th anniversary actually in 2029, so this is a ways out now. And we don't really know, again, what this is going to mean exactly with this being a remaster project. Is it going to be, you know, like remasters of like the film versions of 0079, where it's just going to be a series of 3 theatrical releases, or is it going to be a reproduction of the entire series? And is it just going to be like reanimated and, you know, obviously just redone in terms of like the voice and the sound and everything else? What this exactly means, I don't know. I think probably the most likely, again, I'm just kind of thinking like just based on kind of what Bandai's been doing with stuff lately, it's very likely, in my guess, that this is going to be a series of theatrical releases, maybe 3 movie series, or like a 3 OVA series kind of retelling the original series, because they did say that this is supposed to be to allow more of you to enjoy the origin of it all. So I think it's basically meant to allow kind of new and old fans a new way to enjoy the original series, because the old series, you know, it's got that old, you know, dated animation style. I still think it still holds up very well, and I don't think that it's necessarily, you know, dated in terms of being able to enjoy it, watching it as an anime. But understandably, I mean, like, especially for like young kids, you know, they're not going to be too impressed by the animation and everything with that. So I think as a way to just kind of introduce new fans, younger fans in particular, to the original Gundam story, they're going to be remastering that. So we'll see exactly what that means, but that's still pretty cool. I think there's probably a lot of people out there who would also say like, don't touch it, leave it how it is. It doesn't need a remaster. And yeah, I agree, that's fine. But I mean, if Bandai's gonna, you know, they're gonna do something, and they could do something completely original, they could do this. I mean, something completely original would be cool. But then people, once that comes out, people will be complaining about that too, saying, oh, they don't like it or whatever, for whatever reason. So either way, there's going to be people that are excited about it. There's going to be people that are going to complain about it. That's just kind of unavoidable. But okay, there's still a few more points here to cover. Gundam-Con will be launching in January of next year, with the first event being there in Tokyo. But this is going to be the first of what they said is going to take place over various locations around the world. So Gundam-Con will be something that I guess will be going on starting in January in 2027, going through 2029 would be my guess. And just kind of over the course of those years, this will be a like traveling convention event that will take place in multiple different countries. I wouldn't expect it to go to like every country around the world. Basically any country that like typically has Gundam pop-up events and or like GBWC events. So probably a couple of spots around Europe, maybe USA, a couple places around the USA, maybe Canada. I would not expect Mexico or anywhere in South America, unfortunately. Probably, of course, a few places around Asia. In particular, you know, Southeast Asia, Japan, Korea, China, Hong Kong, even like Philippines, maybe, I don't know, and then like Thailand, I'm not sure, you know, we'll have to wait and see. That said, it is cool that this is not going to be limited to Japan only. So, you know, if you are in a country that is lucky enough to have an event of this, you know, we don't really know what's all going to be there at the event. Basically, again, there's limited information on this so far, but they want people to be able to experience, what did they say? The concept is creating together with the fans. So, you know, creating whatever that is. There amongst the logos, they had like the logos for Gundam Gunpla, Gundam Assemble, Gundam Gundam card game, Arsenal base, Infinite Boost, Tamashii Nations, and more. So they're going to have like all of their different stuff there between like the card game, the tabletop game, and then Gunpla, of course. Just basically stuff that brings people together to be able to build, play, kind of do stuff together with Gundam. So it should be pretty interesting. I really hope that that goes well and that's a success, because I think that would do a lot to kind of improve not that Gundam like as a brand, you know, needs improvement. It's not like, oh, they're kind of in a bad way at the moment, but I think it'll do a lot to kind of spread a lot of enjoyment amongst the fans and bring in new fans to the fan base. So I think that'll be really cool. All right, then last couple of things here. There is going to be a Yoshiyuki Tomino exhibition there to be held at the Tokyo National Museum in 2029 as well. So again, it's a long ways off, but it sounds like this is going to be, I'm not familiar with the Tokyo National Museum, but just based on the name, I mean, it sounds like a pretty big deal. So for Tomino to have a special exhibition there, sounds like that's going to be really cool. It seems like this is going to be not necessarily like from Tomino, but like Bandai producing this exhibition of stuff related to Tomino and his works and just kind of his achievements throughout his career related to Gundam. So I think that'll be really cool. And obviously more than just Gundam, I mean, and his other animation works that he's worked on. But with it being coinciding with the 50th anniversary of Gundam, obviously it's going to be primarily about his work creating the original Gundam series. Then I'm sure other stuff will be represented there as well. So again, something to look forward to in 2029 if you're going to be, you know, it's a long ways off, but planning to visit Tokyo at that time, which it sounds like it probably, as a Gundam fan, it would be a good thing to plan on, visiting Tokyo or visiting Japan in 2029. So just something to think about. There's also going to be a Gundam Landmark concept. This is going to be a new Gundam facility there in Japan. We know nothing about this other than what I just told you. I have no idea what that means, what this is going to be, but it sounds like something along the lines of like a Gundam base, or kind of more similar to like the Gundam base there in Tokyo in Odaiba before it was Gundam base was Gundam Front Tokyo. If you guys remember that, if you've ever been, it was really cool. A little bit different, kind of, it had its store and then it had like kind of more of like kind of a museum and exhibition vibe, kind of more of like a museum sort of, and then it had a lot of really cool stuff. So it seems that like the new Gundam facility is going to be something like that. I would be my guess, the Gundam Landmark concept. So we'll see whether that ends up being Gundam Landmark, but it's definitely, again, going to be something that if you're planning on visiting as a Gundam fan, that you're definitely going to want to visit, it sounds like. And last thing is going to be here, the Gundam Festival project. This one is also something that we really don't know too much about, other than it's just that they're going to try to have Bandai and Gunpla stuff represented more at beloved local festivals, they said. So Japan has a ton of festivals all over the place all the time, and so, you know, not at like everyone, but I would say at like some major festivals, they're just going to have like kind of maybe like stamp events, or just kind of hands-on things where they'll have stuff for fans to try, or, you know, just like pop-up shops, things like that at just different local festivals. Again, unless you live in Japan or you're planning on visiting Japan at the time when these events are going on, it's just not really something that you can really participate much in, but it will be something to like keep track of. I haven't seen if they have like a particular like Twitter account for this, for the festival project in particular. I hope that they will, so that'll be something that like you can kind of keep track of, and you won't have to like check on Gundam Info or something. It'll have its own kind of social media account dedicated to letting people know like where these events are happening and like what's going on, and just like posting photos from the events and stuff like that. Would be really cool to see. So hopefully that's something that's in the works as well. All right, and I said that was the last thing. There is something else that I just want to throw in here at the very end too. The Gundam hololive collaboration had some news as well. We actually did already see the announcement of some limited exclusive like recolored kits that are going to be coming out that are like in collaboration with hololive, like the color and themes like styled after different hololive characters. The second round of model kits has been announced for that, as well as pilot suit designs of some of the hololive characters, plush designs, and emblem designs for some of those as well. So they're cool, kind of cool, like remakes of the classic like Gundam logos, but just like made kind of mixed with like the hololive logos and stuff. So that's pretty cool if you're into hololive. I'm not, and I don't hardly know anything about it, but just kind of it's a collaboration that's going on. So I just thought I would remind you guys, or let you know if you hadn't heard anything about that, that's something that's happening too. But that kind of covers most of what we know at the moment. Like I said, it's not a lot, and right now it's just kind of a lot of theorizing about kind of what a lot of this stuff is going to mean over the next couple years. But again, with this being the 2026 Spring Conference, hopefully there will be at least a conference in the fall. If not, maybe every season, spring, summer, fall, winter. I kind of doubt that. It's probably more likely that it's going to be spring and fall, but we'll wait and see. Let me know in the comments what you guys are most excited about. I think the new animation series will be really nice. I'm very interested to hear what the remaster of the original series is going to mean, what is going to be coming out for Gundam Wing related to a new animation of that. And then also very anxious to know what's going to be taking the place of the 1-to-1 scale Gundam there, the 1-to-1 scale Unicorn Gundam there in Odaiba, considering if that's coming down in August, they hopefully would have something planned to go up in its place, you know, relatively soon, if not by the end of the year, then like by the beginning of next year, because otherwise they just have that empty space there. So we might hopefully be able to see some news about that in the very near future, but I just have no idea at this point what that is going to be. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. And again, if you want to check out all the new announcements from Shizuoka Hobby Show, from Bandai, Kotobukiya, Max Factory, and all of that, check out my videos covering all that stuff separately. And if you guys want to check out some more model kits, paints, tools, supplies, all that stuff, you can check the link in the video description to US Gundam Store as well. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.